Bobby, you've just raised $40 million to make a film here in Australia. How on earth did you get that sort of money in these tough times?
Well, I bought a Powerball ticket, Robert, you know, although I have on occasion every week. But no, we approached people that were involved in our last feature, people that are family businesses, quite successful family businesses, and people that have an absolute passion for this story, the Red X trials in the 1950s, and they're car nuts, they're nostalgia nuts, and they see a way of making this come to the screen. It's the best Australian story never told. It's what we like to say.
Galinsky Jack Murray. I was a teenager at that time, and he was a real character. So what are you going to do with Galinsky Jack?
Well, he's a principal character, and he comes up and against an American interloper who comes in ostensibly to sabotage the race, but turns around that he's really there to befriend someone and becomes I don't want to give away the ending, but more of an ally than an adversary. And Galinsky Jack we're going to blow up a lot of things in this film. Yeah. We're going to blow up everything we want, and the investors are going to love it.
But as those who know the story of the Red X trial, which went right from South Australia to Cairns?
Yeah, it started at what's now the Fox Studios, the Sydney Showgrounds, went 17,000 kilometers around the outside rim of Australia in 3 weeks. 200 cars. And it did it 3 years annually, from 1953 to 55, and then it just went away.
And of course, Galinsky Jack was famous because he supposedly threw the Galinsky, when he couldn't pass a car, would throw the Galinsky behind the car in front of him. They'd stop and he'd go.
Yeah, there'd be this amazing explosion. They wouldn't know what it is. Maybe they thought they blew a tire or whatever, and he'd pull over. And when we told this to one of our investors in the U.S. and some of our partners, they go, "There's just no way. This is fiction." We go, "I swear to God." They go, "This is real. This guy's for real."
So where are you aiming this film at? Which market?
Well, there's kind of two markets. To use a bit of film speak, there's 4 quadrants you want to reach. You want to reach men, you want to reach women, you want to reach teenagers, and you want to reach adults. If you hit 2 of the 4, you can have a successful film. If you hit 3 of the 4, you're laughing. If you hit 4 of the 4, then you've got something like a Crocodile Dundee or a Mad Max or Transformers, blockbusters like that, like E.T. And the 50s is kind of a zeitgeist for what's going on right now. People our age think, oh, that was the good old days. The last days before television here in Australia. TV is only 10 years old in the US. Radio was king. There were no drugs, so to speak. There was not a lot of street crime. And it's life as we used to think was rather the halcyon days. But young people have grown up seeing all these films about the 50s, and in their head they think, wow, those are the good old days that I never even knew, so they have a fascination with it. So we're trying to reach teens and as well as the adult market.
Now, can an Australian market handle a $40 million film?
It can handle a $40 million film, but it can't make a profit here in Australia. A film usually has to do 2 to 3 times its budget to break even. So with a $40 million film, we're going to have to go north of about 100 million worldwide to get in the black. But in Australia, for instance, a film like Red Dog has just done 20 million, which is astonishing because it only cost about 13 to make, I believe. And it's already the 10th largest film in Australian history. But how well that travels overseas will remain to be seen in the next few months. But we have to do well overseas.
You have to do well.
Yeah.
And so how are you going to translate a very Australian story about Galinsky Jack and Jack Davey, the great radio star? How do you translate that into a film that the Americans will want to see?
Okay. Well, we chose director Simon West. You might have seen the press announcements. He did Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Con Air, The General's Daughter. He was just handpicked to shoot Expendables 2, which is shooting right now, which is Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, $100 million film, biggest film of the year, and his films have grossed over $1 billion worldwide in all markets. So we've got a...
How did you get him with that sort of guy for a $40 million film here in Australia?
Well, we've been chasing him for the better part of 6 months.
Yeah.
Our U.S. partners, who produced 22 films,
Yeah.
19 of which have been highly profitable, have a lot of cred. We're just the little Aussies down here, or as they say, the little Aussies down here, and they approached him. He had just finished a trip to Australia. He'd been on the Great Ocean Road, and And we've got this amazing set piece where all the cars are shooting around the Great Ocean Road and they're passing each other at a zillion miles an hour. And he had thought, God, I'd love to do a car film. I'd love to do a film here in Australia. And then he got the script, and it was a bit of magic. It was just serendipity.
Yes.
Yeah, which is really the beauty of this industry, the anonymous.
So how many people will be involved in creating this film here in Australia?
About 2,500 all up.
Really?
Yeah, there'll be about 250 principal cast and crew, and then over 2,000 others that will come along the way in post-production, special effects, visual effects, sound, marketing. Film is the best thing for Australia as far as industry because it's clean, it's green if you're into that, and it doesn't have huge, work stoppages like some other industries do without sounding too right-wing, and
Yes.
it provides entertainment for generations. It's a fantastic.
And there is capital available to do these sort of projects if you...
Difficult to find, but people that have been frustrated with shares, the GFC, with real estate, they go, what can I put my money into? People that are entrepreneurs are always looking for something, and this offers a chance. We're really doing a $90 million film for $40 million. So our pitch is kind of like if you were going to buy a block of units at 90 million, if you could get them for 40 million, there's a chance that you can make that big return if things go well. But the security factor is that even if the film doesn't do extremely well at the box office through DVD and ancillary and download and iPad and iPhone and all that, the chance to make money is quite good.
When you say a $90 million film for $40 million, are you referring to the fact that it's much cheaper to make here?
Yeah, I believe, and most people believe, that if you're going to do a large American-style film, you can do it just as well for much cheaper in Australia. We don't have the arbitrage, shall we say, buffer that we had when the dollar was 70 cents. But on the same token, people are looking to put money into something that has a chance for residual income.
So if this succeeds, you think do you have another script in your back pocket?
I've got quite a few scripts. I've been a writer for 35 years. I have only been a producer for 6, so I'd have to say I'm somewhat new to the producing game. But I think it's just passion for the project. People love cars. They love girls and explosions in this story, and it's an Australian story that will travel, unlike, let's say, a story about cricket or something that's more intrinsically Australian. No
Sure.
disrespect to cricket. I'm starting to like cricket.
Looking forward to watching Galinsky Jack all over again, which, by the way, we saw in the movie. There was no television. You'd go to the movies and watch it on newsreels.
And the Movie Tone News.
Yeah.
The Movie Tone News, that archival footage will be very important in getting people back to that 50s time. And Jack Davey and Galinsky Jack are just the two coolest heroes that you could possibly find.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah. Thank you very much.